Welcome to Ellis Mowers and Mower. Another rider, another engine swap. This one's a Craftsman YT4000. I think paid $100 for it. Looks decent overall. Got a little bit of cosmetic issues we need to resolve. And missing a couple of pieces, but I should have everything here. It has a 24 horsepower Briggs, but it looks like it ran low on oil and it's completely blown up. So I've got a 21 horsepower single Briggs that's just sitting out there that I was told was good. So what we're going to do is swap that in. I do have to put a fuel pump setup on it, but that shouldn't be too bad to do. So, given all of that, we'll go ahead and get started with this thing. So this mower appears to be in pretty good condition. A lot of times you can tell by the amount of dirt in the headlights how much it was used and how dusty of an environment it was used in. Doesn't seem too bad. Some scratches and stuff here and there, but not crazy. I already have washed it off. If y'all saw the super clean video with my fall vlog, I washed it off there. This does have the 6-speed transaxle in it, so not a hydrostatic, which does hurt the value of it a tiny bit. But here's the 24 horse Briggs. It's completely shot. So no compression at all. Which isn't good. So, but no big deal. Like I said, I got a 21 horsepower that I'm going to throw in it. The only thing I've really got to figure out is putting a fuel pump on it, which is super easy to do. I think the exhaust that's on it will fit on this machine as well. So that'll be nice, and we'll see what we may have to do to this thing. But as I've mentioned in previous videos, these are not hard to get off. You have this 6-pin connector right here that you disconnect, and we don't have to worry about electric PTO or anything, so we can use a traditional ignition coil or a diode setup if we need to. Here's the starter nut. You take this off, and then you have a throttle cable connection that goes somewhere in the front here, right here on the bottom. It's a throttle choke-in one, so all you have to do is take that off. Take a fuel line off somewhere that's disconnecting it from the engine. So we'll probably just take it off right here at the fuel pump for the moment, so we don't have to remove any of this for the time being. And then underneath the mower, that's all you got to do up top. You may have an extra vacuum line or a breather line or vent line, whatever you want to call it, right here. And these hardly are even messed up, so that's pretty cool. Take your front mount of your mower deck off. Take your front bracket off so that you can access underneath here. You have your deck belt that you have to take off over the guides, and then if you push the brake in and lock the park brake, your transmission belt will come right off. So that'll be nice, and should be good. So what I might do, I don't do this very much anymore, but I'll put y'all on a little time lapse. Let me get this engine on. So there we go, pretty easy overall, and should hopefully be a good, easy install here. The only thing I did was take off these belt guides so that I could get my impact on them rear mounting bolts. But again, pulled off everything just like I said, and came right on off, so that's good. So now let's see, got a little bit of oil right there that we could get up, but it helps whenever you clean everything off pretty well. I should do that more often, but I don't. I need to find a piece right here. I've got one somewhere I can put on here, and then I have find an engine, right? So got to do that. The only other thing I could do is swap one of these tires so that they are not lopsided like this, because this one's taller and this one's wider. I'll see what options I have here at the house and which one I'll decide I want to replace. As you can see, the rest of the mower is in pretty good shape. A couple of cracks in the seat here, but a little bit of delamination, but it ain't nothing crazy or anything like that. And like I said, that thing is just toast. So we'll break that engine down and part everything out. I'll take the heads off of it, keep all of that, and basically just everything except for the block I'll probably allow to stay so that I can have some parts. Let me find the engine that I want to use to put on here, and hopefully we'll be in good shape. As you can see, it's been an engine swapping kind of week, because there's a block, there's a block, and there's a block. So we're cruising along. Alright guys, so here's the engine. I do need to find a muffler for it, because this muffler is done. But we'll see what we can find and be good. But it's 21 horsepower. It does have compression. I do feel it. And I was told that it was a running engine when it was pulled. So from whatever mower for whatever reason. So I don't know what year this is. It's a 2013 model, so it's actually one of the better years of the Intex. Seems like 2016 they really started cheapening it out on stuff even more. So I'm going to get this thing back in. I might put y'all on another time lapse so that y'all can watch me put this thing in. We have a couple of small items to sort out for fuel pump and a couple other things, but should not be that difficult. And hopefully, as long as that engine's good, this thing should be running pretty shortly here. Alright y'all, you can see we got this on here, and again, just 4 mounting bolts. The thing I'm going to do, because we do need a fuel pump setup because it's a rear mounted tank on this, is I'm going to take and change out the dipstick on it. I've got a John Deere one that comes with this little nipple thing on it so that you can get the proper ventilation to your fuel pump. So it kind of goes around the back of the engine here and then goes up into the fuel pump. And then this one also has a mount for the voltage regulator, which this one also has. So that's kind of nice. To do that, all I got to do, take off my 4 bolts here for mounting the engine cover on, and literally just take that off 8mm. We're going to pull this cover off, pull that voltage regulator off, and we should just be able to pull this dipstick right out with very minimal fanfare. There may be a bolt underneath this. Yeah, there's a little 1/4 inch right there that you got to take off as well. So throttle cable I should be able to make work, because this cable's a little bit longer, so it's going to stretch out a little bit, but I should be able to make it work to put in to the carburetor here. Oil situation I think was pretty good on this. It is a little low, but it is relatively clean, so should just need to top it off. And then obviously we'll have to clean this engine itself after we finish this and adapt the fuel line as necessary as well, from the fuel pump down to the carburetor. Not that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and get all that small stuff sorted. Show you what it looks like before I put the engine cover back on with all the setup and everything. And then throw a battery in it, and we should be able to crank this thing up, hopefully, after I top it off with oil. And as long as everything's good and the fuel and stuff, I'll make sure we'll crank it over a few times and get the pumping action and stuff going on the fuel pump, so that we could see how that's doing. Hopefully, this, like I said, this will be a pretty easy one to do, and then it'll just be a matter of finding that piece, fixing the seat, and then making sure that the tires are matching on this machine. And then I think we're going to be good, which will be very nice. Alright, so I got the dipstick swapped out. I'll show it to y'all. I got the throttle put on here. And this carb looks like it's done. It's got a ton of varnish and stuff in it, so we'll throw a carb on it. And got the voltage regulator back down. Put a battery in it as well. So, and a spark plug. So what I'm going to do, just very briefly, I just want to see if it'll spin over and at least hit on starting fluid. And if it does that, then we're going to be in very good shape. And hopefully just got to put everything back together at that point, put a carb on it, a couple other things like that. I'm hoping that it doesn't have any like ACR issues, but we'll see. Let's see what it'll do. Awesome. That thing sounds good too. Muffler doesn't even sound all that bad, so even though it's got a little rust in it. So that's really good. And I can keep that muffler on there if I decide I want to. So we'll see. But yeah, that's great. We'll continue with this here in just a second. I will go ahead and swap the carb out and do a couple other things to help make this thing look good again. Alright, y'all, so I got oil in it, and then I did a little fuel pump setup right here just to test it out. I also swapped the carb out. Once you have everything off right here, there's 7/16, and then you take this off with an 8mm deep well, and you're just got to remove the linkages, put them back on with the new carb. So that's where we're at. Oh, I need to plug this back in the bottom though. So hopefully what we're going to be able to do is get this thing to crank and run. It may surge a little bit because this is not a new carb, and I'm not sure the condition of it, but I do know that I think it was a running carburetor, or a carburetor that allowed everything to run. So let me see. Forgot how many hours this has on it. Doesn't really matter too much. It says 547. It looks a lot better than that, so it makes me think that somebody may have left the switch on by accident. But let's see if we can get a little bit of pumping action through the carb to get this thing to run. Alright, let's try this again. I may have a bad fuel pump here. I think I do. I do. Oh boy. Right there. Oh. No. I had the fuel line blocked off. That'll do it. Let's make sure it'll pump now. There we go. Okay. Sometimes it's the easy things that you miss. Alright, that's good. Pull this out a little bit so that it doesn't hit anything. Alright, I see gas coming out the carb, so hopefully it'll kick off here in a second. Not so sure that the gas isn't good. So we got the idea that this thing does run, even though that carb is not really good at all, but okay. I mean, it might come around. It might come around, but I do need to. Actually, I think it doesn't sound very loud, even though that muffler isn't in the best shape. But we've got, I don't know what's in the muffler, so I need to run it and just burn it out, I think. I need to tighten this up a little bit because we've got it a little bit too low on the idle. Like I said, we got a little kindling going on in the muffler. I think some dirt and stuff got in there. So good news is the wind's pushing it out of the garage, and we'll let that happen. I might see if I can find a muffler because I don't want this one literally falling off of if the customer buys this thing. So the good news is I think that carb's going to be good. Like I said, it took a hot second for it to get correct, but I think it's going to be good. I'll go ahead and put the cover back on. Like I said, we got the fuel pump and stuff on. I'll dress up this fuel line a little bit more, but we've got a good running engine here. And like I said, muffler, I'm going to go ahead and put the double sack pulleys on, the belt guides back on, and all the belts and everything back on. So that way, hopefully, we'll have a driving mower here in just a second. And we'll see I can get this out of the garage and into a better place to let it run for a little bit. Alright, so I swapped the muffler out, easy enough. Just make sure you put your exhaust gasket in there. Like I said, this one right here is good as trash. So we'll send it on. But, got all the fuel lines, fuel pump routed, everything on, and put the double sack pulley back on, put the brackets back on this side for the little keepers. and so I think we're at a good point where we can test this out. I'm going to make sure that it's charging. I'm going to back it up, make sure the transmission's working like it's supposed to, and see if the blades engage like they're supposed to. And if we've got all that going on, like I said, we've got a couple of tires we need to fix. I got to fix this right front, put a little ATF in it, and then I need to find a proper rear tire that's supposed to go on this, and we should be in good shape after that. Hopefully, as long as everything's good. So let me back it up. I'll let y'all see me through. It is slam full here in the driveway now. I got 2 golf carts, a Gator. I got a big 455 John Deere here right now. It's pretty insane, but I wanted to have a couple of days to myself here to turn around some stuff and make some videos for y'all, which also helps clean things out whenever I fix things as well. So put that right there so hopefully my rear end don't get too wet, and we'll crank this up. Pretty good. This little disc thing right here, the little rubber pad for the brake, wants to roll off, so I'll put a little clamp on that, and that's really good actually. Runs pretty good. I forgot to check to make sure it was charging, but I think it'll be fine. Got a little bit of smoke coming out of areas and stuff because this hasn't been running a little bit. But very happy with that. I just need to do some touch-ups for this. Like I said, ATF in the right front there. And we'll see if I can find a right rear tire that matches the left rear here. And just a general cleaning and stuff along those lines. And I'll let y'all know what it looks like. Also, we've got to find a piece that goes right here. So that's about it, and I'll do the final touches and clean everything up here, and hopefully we'll be done here very, very soon. Well, before it gets too dark, I'll show you the finished product here. Again, I found this little piece that went off of a Husqvarna, so it doesn't really match, but it works, and I think it's the best option that I had on a mower that I was going to scrap, so I just figured to throw that on here. It works. I got the mower deck level. These mowers don't really cut above about 3 inches, especially with these tires on the back, which I found another tire that worked. That's the same size, or the same shape, same size and shape really, so that was good. Found that on a Husqvarna in the back as well. Had to do a little repair to the discharge chute in order for it to not push back. Just a zip tie right there because it was broke over here on the front. We've got ATF in both of the right tires because these had some dry rot cracks in them. And then we cleaned everything up, made everything look nice and shiny, ready to go. So, still got a tiny, tiny bit of surge, but I tell you, it is really hard to get rid of the surge on these 21 horse Briggs. But let me see what it sounds like. I did spray a little bit of carb spray up in the jet and stuff just to see if I could dislodge anything, but I think it's just gonna have maybe just a little bit of a surge to it, which would be okay, but even the headlights work. A lot of the times, honestly, these things would surge up and down from the factory. This has an OEM Briggs carb on it. The one that was on it broke the choke on it, and it had a bunch of varnish in it, so I didn't bother with it. I did get this piece back on as well, just a couple of self-tapping screws to get it on because it doesn't quite fit 100% right up here. But yeah, it's gonna turn out to be a pretty nice mower. This thing looks really good overall. I'm very surprised at how nice it is. And these Craftsman usually sell well. Because of how nice this is, I'm probably gonna list it for $800. And again, I'll probably take $700 for it if somebody offers me that. I sold one in worse condition than this, the T2200, for $700. So, which is just a tad bit newer than this one. This one's like a 2013 or 14 model year. So, obviously we downgraded from the 24 to the 21, but that's going to be more than enough for this machine to cut yards, and hopefully somebody will have a nice little mower. And also, if they're looking for a 6-speed transaxle, you don't really find a lot of them anymore either. So, that is a big difference there, and should be, you know, a nice machine if somebody's looking for that. Transmission works great, brakes work awesome, didn't have to touch those. Basically all I had to do was swap the engine on this, sharpen the blades, do a little bit of cosmetic repairs, and find a right rear tire for it so that everything looked nice and even. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll have a lot more repairs coming up. Pretty full down here in the yard, and just took some time to get a couple of engine swaps done so I could have a couple of riders ready to rock and roll. Hopefully y'all enjoy the video, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.